Hi, my dear students. Welcome to our first session on the course Robotics. So today we are going to see the introductory lecture of Unit 1, which is Fundamentals of Robot. Okay, Fundamentals of Robot. So this is your syllabus, and we have been allocated 6 hours as per our syllabus. So according to those 6 hours, I have splitted all the syllabus content into 6 topics. So here goes the topic. So topic 1 is robot and its definition and robot anatomy. We are going to look on this. And topic 2 is coordinate system. And topic 3 work envelope, its types and classification. Fourth one specifications, which and what are the specifications which we are going to look into in a robot, and these are some of the specifications which is mentioned in the syllabus, and we will go into detailed about other specifications also. And in the topic 5 robot parts and how does it function, and topic 6 is need for robots and its different applications. Okay, so that is how this is how we are going to cover our syllabus, and I'm going to make each one video for each topic. Okay, that is how I have planned, and let's go into the content directly. So coming to our first slide, so what is a robot? Okay, do you have any idea? And let me explain what is a robot. It is simply called a machine. It is as like a simple machine, but what's the difference between ordinary machine and robot is the robot does its work automatically. Okay, either it may be controlled from an external source, or the control may be embedded within the robot. Okay, so there are these are the two categories how a robot operates, and let us look into the points. You have to keep in mind, especially robot is a programmable manipulator which does its operations automatically. Okay, so first point is a robot is a machine, especially one programmable by a computer, capable of carrying out a complex series of actions automatically. So this is what I mentioned in my explanation. So it is simple machine, and it can be programmable by a computer, and based on that program is it does its work automatically. Okay, then second point is robot can be guided by an external control device, and or the control can be embedded within. So in this type, robot can be controlled external control device. We call that external control device as a teach pendant. Okay, teach pendant is nothing but it is similar to a joystick. How you operate a remote controlled car, or the drones which are being made nowadays, you have that device which in your hand which controls the robot. Okay, that is called as teach pendant. Or the robot can be controlled by an embedded system. So such type of robots, we call it as humanoid robots, or like you would have seen robots made by the Ford, which is helpful for delivering uh, okay, delivering what is products like through Amazon and all, and those robots have their program embedded within. So these are the major two categories of robots which are being constructed in day-to-day life. And our next slide is robots can be constructed on the lines of human form, which means robot is many robots like humanoid robots, they are constructed just like a human. Okay, that is mentioned here in the in the human form, but most robots are designed to perform a task with no regards to aesthetics, which means many industrial robots in constructing many industrial robots, people don't look into the aesthetics. On the other hand, they look into the space where the robot has to operate, and they design the structure of the robot dependent on the space. Okay, that is what with no regards to aesthetics. Okay, then we'll go on to the next slide. So coming to the definition of robot, so Here are certain points which are given here for notes purpose, and here goes the definition like this. As per RIA is Robot Institute of America, and they have defined a robot in this form. A robot is a reprogrammable, which means you can program a robot, you can delete the program, and you can reprogram for other aspects of work which you require now and then. Okay, then multifunctional, which means robot is not only prepared, robot is not only made just for doing one work. It can be multifunction, like you can make a robot for a pick and place operation. You can make a robot for delivering objects. You can make a robot for doing your household works. You can even develop a robot for playing games, and these are all some of the multifunctional aspects for which robot is being made. And there are other certain other examples also, and these are some of them. And third one, which is very important, is manipulator, which means you see there are n number of components which are located in a robot. We are making robot with n number of components. Say for example, you can take a electric drive, and it may be electric drive or it may be mechanical drive. You require a power source for driving those electric drives and mechanical drives, and those drives are all small components, and they bring out the final operation of the robot in a very larger space. Okay, all the small components which are inbuilt within a robot bring out a larger operation of the robot, and that is called as the manipulator. Okay, it manipulates the small operations into a larger operation, and these reprogrammable multifunctional manipulator, the robot in other words are called as manipulators. Okay, so they are designed to move materials, parts, tools, specialized devices through variable programmed motions for the performance of variety of tasks. And here I remember another thing which is very important in case of robot needs is they are specialized devices to perform very specific tasks, like they are used for welding nowadays in a larger scale. They are used for painting purposes, and you could have seen uh, the making of airplanes and all, how they paint those airplanes. They paint with not only airplanes, everything, shipbuilding, automobiles. Nowadays they are completely employing robots, and these are some of the operations for which robots are being made. Okay, so the next topic is robotics. So what is mean by robotics? Robotics is a branch of technology, like what the subject we are learning now. It is a branch of technology, and robotics is the study of that technology. Okay, coming to the points. So branch of technology that deals with the design, construction, and application of robots. So these are the things in general what we are going to see in the whole of the course of robotics, and not only how we are designing, constructing, and operation and application of robots, as well as apart from this we are going to look into the control system of robots also, how the robots are being controlled. Okay, what are the components or what are the elements the control system has. For example, to give a short introduction, some of the robots doesn't require a feedback system, and some of the robots require a feedback system to adjust them automatically and to give a precise output. Okay, so this is a small introduction, and information processing also. Okay, so coming to our next portion is laws of robotics. So what is mean by laws of robotics? So let us get into it. The first law is law zero. Robot may not injure humanity. Whatever the case may be, a robot. Why we are using a robot? Because as robots are used where there are some toxic presence, or where there is no safety for human operations. So that is where we use robots mainly in industry areas. So that is why robots may not injure humanity. A robot should not injure human in any case. Okay, or through inaction. Inaction means when the robots are ideal. Okay, when the robots are ideal, allow human to come to harm. Okay, which means even when the robots are ideal, they should not make any harm to the humans. Okay, next point is law 1, which is unless it violates a higher order law, it should not harm human. Okay, let me explain this in Tamil. அதாவது law 0வை violate பண்ற வரைக்கும் அந்த ரோபோட் ஹியூமனை எந்த விதமான இன்ஜுரியும் பண்ணக்கூடாது, எந்த விதமான ஹார்மும் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஓகே, தட் இஸ் வாட் தி லா 1 மீன்ஸ். அப்போது எப்போ அந்த லா வந்து வயலேட் செய்யப்படும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, வில் கெட் இன் டு தி லா 2. இட் எக்ஸ்பிளைன்ஸ் robot must obey order given by human. Okay, a robot naturally obeys what are the orders which we are giving. Okay, so லா 1ல சொல்லப்பட்ட அந்த வயலேஷன் எப்போ நடக்குது அப்படின்னா, நம்ம கொடுக்குற ஆர்டர் அப்போ தான் வந்து வயலேட் செய்யப்படுது. நம்ம கொடுக்குற ஆர்டர் லா 1 வயலேட் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருந்ததுன்னா, தி ரோபோட் ஹேஸ் நோ அதர் கோ, இட் ஹேஸ் டூ தட் ஆப்ரேஷன். ஓகே, அப்போது it can harm the human beings, and that is not the mistake of the robot, it is mistake of the human who are giving orders in such a way. Okay, so law 2 is, once again I'll read out the point. Law 2 is a robot must obey order given by human except, okay, note this point, except where such order violates higher order law. Okay, அந்த ஆர்டர் ஹியூமன் கொடுக்கக்கூடிய அந்த ஆர்டர் இந்த ஹையர் ஆர்டர் லா, விச் மீன்ஸ் லா 0 லா 1 வயலேட் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருந்ததுன்னா, தி ரோபோட் ஹேஸ் நோ அதர் கோ, இட் ஷுட் ஒபே இட்ஸ் பாஸ். ஓகே, தென் தி லா 3, ரோபோட் மஸ்ட் ப்ரொடெக்ட் இட்ஸ் ஓன் எக்ஸிஸ்டன்ஸ். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து ரோபோட் நம்மளை காப்பாற்றணும், நம்மளை எதுவும் ஹார்ம் பண்ணக்கூடாது. அண்ட் தி நெக்ஸ்ட் ப்ரைமரி ரீசன் இஸ் தி ரோபோட், அந்த ரோபோட்ஸே வந்து டேமேஜ் பண்ணிக்க கூடாது. ஓகே, இட் ஷுட் நாட் it should protect its own existence. Okay, அவங்களே சேதப்படுத்திக்க கூடாது. it should protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflictனா ஒரு முரண்பாடு. நம்ம இதுக்கு முன்னாடி நம்ம ஹியூமன்ஸ் வந்து என்ன ஆர்டர் கொடுக்குறாங்களோ அந்த ஆர்டருக்கு முரண்பாடு எதுவும் இருக்கக்கூடாது. அந்த பட்சத்தில் ரோபோட்ஸ் வந்து அவங்களே டேமேஜ் பண்ணிக்க கூடாது. ஓகே, ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் ஹவு தி லாஸ் 4 laws are. So coming to our next, the main portion is robot anatomy. In this robot anatomy, so these are the basic parts of an industrial robot. The first basic part is base. So this is the important region. Okay, this is our base, and the second important things are joints. Okay, robotic joints. So இந்த இடத்துலயும் ஒரு joint இருக்கு, and this is another joint, and the third important parts are the links. Okay, so links, how to design the link, what should be the length of the link, and where the robot operates, அதாவது which means in the end effector. Okay, where this end effector is being operated, so அதை பொறுத்து தான் வந்து we will be deciding the length of the link. Okay, we will be calculating the length of the link. Okay, this is one category. Or else based on the link we can decide where the robot is going to operate, and we have to adjust the other parts of the operating things accordingly to this robot. Okay, these are the two divisions based on which we are going to see the design of the robots. Okay, and those topics are called the kinematics of robots, and we will see those topics in our 4th chapter. And we have seen base, joints, links. Now coming to the important part is wrist. Okay, so base is fixed and wrist enforce. Okay, what the wrist portion does is it is the main cause for orientation. Okay, so this end effector, how this end effector should pick a part. Okay, அந்த பார்ட், நம்ம எடுக்கக்கூடிய பார்ட் வந்து எந்த ஷேப்பில் வேணால் இருக்கலாம், எங்கே வேணால் இருக்கலாம், எந்த ஃபார்மில் வேணால் இருக்கலாம். ஸோ எந்த ஓரியன்டேஷனில் போயிட்டு பிக் பண்ணணும் அப்படிங்கிறது டிசைட் பண்ணுறது இந்த wrist தான். ஓகே, we make this end effector to orient based on the orientation of the wrist. Okay, this end effector is otherwise called as we have major types of end effectors. One is grippers, and the other portion is end arm tooling. We call it as end arm tooling and grippers. Okay, so இங்க கொடுத்திருக்க example வந்து we have given a gripper and not a tool. Okay, so these are a small introduction about robot anatomy, and what we are going to see in this robot anatomy topic is what are the type of joints which we are going to use in our robots. Okay, and for example, not for example, there are 5 joints totally, and what are the motions which each joints are going to create அப்படிங்கிறது தான் we are going to look in our further slides. uh, let us go into the slide. So let us see the definition of robot anatomy. It is therefore the study of structure of robot, that is the physical construction of the manipulator structure. Okay, so as we saw, it is the learning about the structure of a robot, how their parts are being constructed to bring about the complete robot. Okay, manipulator, which means what is a manipulator? As I said, it is made up of rigid bodies links connected by means of joints. So links connected by means of joints is called a manipulator, and we saw these 3 parts. See, what are these 3 parts are doing are, first one is arm ensures mobility and reachability, which means uh, up to which region the robot has to perform its operation. So that is called the reachability, and the arm ensures the reachability and also the mobility of the desired component. Okay. Second one is wrist confers orientation. As I said in the picture, it is the main part wherein it orients the end effector to perform the desired operation, and it is the end effector which does the final task, whatever it may be, a gripper or it may be end arm tooling, and it is end effector is the final component which is going to the perform the task. In next, coming to the types of robotic joints. So robotic joints, a joint helps to link two links. Okay, and the joint is the main joint is the part which is going to bring out the desired motion between the two links. Okay, that is the main purpose of a joint. And let us see what are the types of joints which are available in a robot. And these are the 5 types: a rotational joint, a linear joint, twisting joint, orthogonal joint, and revolving joint. Among these, the linear joint and orthogonal joint, they are of similar kind. Okay, they are of similar kind, which means they bring about a linear motion, and there is a small difference between in the linear motion or the output. Okay, let us see. First one is rotational joint. Rotational joint is simply represented by the letter capital R. So these are all called as joint notations, and you have to remember all these joint notations. Okay, and what kind of motion this rotational joint is going to offer is, it is going to offer a rotational motion. Okay, and that rotational motion is going to be in this format. Here is your input link, and here is your output link. This output link is the link which is going to perform the desired operation. Okay, so the rotation happens in this manner. See the arrow, and the rotation is going to happen in this manner. See, you have to keenly notice what is the difference between a rotational joint and a revolving joint. There is a basic difference. See here, consider this as the axis, this to be the axis of the input link. Okay, and this rotational motion is going to happen, okay, normal to the input link. It is going to happen normal to the input link, and that is called as rotational joint or rotational motion. Okay, let's go into the next type of joint, which is linear joint, and the joint notation is capital L. Okay, in this we get the output in a linear format. Okay, so this is your input link, and this is your output link, which is the link which is going to perform the desired operation, and the motion happens is here in this format. So this is the void, and this output link goes here to and fro to perform the desired operation. Okay, and we can call this motion as also an extension motion. Okay, this is we call it as a linear motion. This linear joint brings about a linear motion, or it is called as translation motion, and we can call this also as an extension motion or sliding moments. Okay. Next, so coming to the twisting joint, here capital T, okay, capital T, and how the twisting motion is caused. A twisting joint creates a twisting motion. Here is your input link, and this is your input links axis. And for example, you can take our hand, and we have two portions between the elbow, two portions. One is our arm, and the upper portion over the elbow. Okay, if a person is pulling your wrist and they are twisting, what happens is your arm gets twisted up to the elbow, and your the upper portion of the hand, it doesn't have any change. Okay, it is the same way here. The twisting happens in this region. Okay, the twisting happens about the center of the input links axis. Okay, have you understood? Orthogonal joint, during the types of joint slide itself, I have clearly mentioned you. It is very similar to a linear joint, and the small difference is this also brings about a linear motion, and the linear motion doesn't happen here in this region. Okay, this entire region is called as your input link, and this output link brings about a orthogonal motion of the link. Okay, that is why it is called as orthogonal joint, and it is represented by the symbol capital O. Okay, the only difference is that the output and input links will be moving at right angles. You have to keenly observe this. The output and input links are moving at right angles. Okay. Next one, revolving joint, and okay, I hope there is a small mistake happened somewhere here. I'll just clarify. It should be capital R, sorry, or something else. I'll check it out. Okay, revolving joint. Here I said the main difference between the rotational motion and the revolving motion. Okay, see, I said the output link axis is perpendicular to the rotational axis. Okay, the output link axis is perpendicular to the rotational axis. Previously I said in the rotational motion, the axis of the input link will be here, and the rotational, okay, and the rotation of the output axis will be like this, whereas here the output link will be revolving about this axis, will be this output link will be revolving around this input link. Okay, and it will not be rotating like this, it will be revolving. Okay, can you understand? I hope this explanation is quite satisfactory. You could have observed the main difference between rotation motion and revolving motion, and I have a video for you. It is a YouTube video, and when I share the lecture notes, you like this presentation slide, you can just play this video and check out. You will be having some animations also, how each joint is going to work, and coming to the motions. Okay, coming to the motion, which means how each joint is bringing about certain motions, and these sides are self-explanatory, and you can just go through the points. And linear joint brings about linear motion. Okay, and this is, I have taken this as a orthogonal example, which means this is your input link, and this is your output link. Your output link moves perpendicular to the input link. Okay, next one, extension motion. This extension motion is another example of linear motion. We have, as I said while explaining the linear joint, we can also take the motion as sliding motion or extension motion. Okay, next one is rotational motion. The rotational joint brings about a rotational motion. Here the rotating, which means here the pivot will be, and it will be rotating. Okay, the pivot is made here, and it will be rotating, and the object which is being pivoted to this will be somewhere here. Okay, it will be creating a rotational motion. Next one, here is the twisting motion, and the twisting motion is, so this is the axis. Okay, here will be the axis. Make an imagination that the opposite side, okay, the opposite side of this picture, there will be a cylindrical object which is been reverted here, or they are being screwed up here, and this portion, this rectangular portion, is the object which is going to be getting twisted about the axis, which the axis will be here. Okay, the axis will be here, and this rectangular portion of the object will be getting twisted about the axis. That is why we call it as twisting motion. Okay,